What is going on, guys? Smooth Racing here, back with a brand new video, and today we've got our F1 2014 Australian Grand Prix review 2014, the first race of the F1 24 season, and what a cracker it was indeed. An absolute amazing race, maybe not for the lead, but full of drama and excitement from the start to the end. And even before the race, we saw some action as Maldonado, Chilton and Bianchi all had to start from the pit lane due to both Mauritius actually stalling on the grid and Grosjean opting to start from the pit lane. But I'll take you through the results then. Well, Nico Rosberg won his 4th Grand Prix in Formula 1, his first of possibly many in the 2014 season, and he won with a time of 1 hour 32 minutes and 58.71 seconds. Then, just under 25 seconds down the road was Daniel Ricciardo, his debut for Red Bull, going better than he ever imagined. He got 2nd place. Behind him was Kevin Magnussen, the rookie, a brilliant finish for him, as did Lewis Hamilton in 2007. Kevin Magnussen has got a podium on his debut. Could he possibly do what Lewis Hamilton managed to do and go on for a charge for the title? But Jenson Button was 4th, a brilliant drive from him. He definitely used some pit stops to his effect when the safety cars came in. Fernando Alonso was 5th. Valtteri Bottas, one of the probably the driver of the day, in 6th. Nico Hülkenberg in 7th. Kimi Räikkönen struggled to, I think he was fairly lucky to get 8th. Then the two Toro Rossos came, Verne and Kvyat. Brilliant debut for Kvyat, and also a very strong performance from Verne to outclass his teammate. Sergio Perez had a very average race. I think, poor qualifying kind of let him down, and I think he made a couple of mistakes during the race. He just missed out on a point in 11th. 1 lap down was Adrian Sutil and Esteban Gutierrez. Definitely a poor race for Sauber. They don't seem to have met much pace. Max Chilton was the last of the finishers in 14th. He was 2 laps down, but he finished. This is the 20th consecutive race he has finished. So an absolute brilliant drive from Max Chilton to finish yet again. And of course, he was at 14th, so that could, bind well for Marussia and him during, later on in the season. The retirees then, Jules Bianchi actually did finish the race, but was about 8 laps down due to, I think, being about 7 at the start. I think he just had a problem in the pit lane and never sort of got going until about lap 7. So they actually finished the race but weren't classified. Romain Grosjean and Pastor Maldonado, both of their cars stopped on track. They actually got past half race distance, so I think, even though both of them retired, it was actually probably a quite good race, probably better than Lotus actually expected, but they managed to put so many laps in, and of course, I suppose you could sort of treat this as a test session, because they did very good and got a lot of running done. But, 5th, was it 16th and 17th were not bad. I think they were running just outside the points. Marcus Ericsson, disappointing for him. He was actually running quite well. He'd have actually finished, I think, 14th instead of Max. He was actually ahead of Max Chilton, but sadly his car retired. Sebastian Vettel, now he retired due to a power unit issue, not quite sure what, and as did Lewis Hamilton. This was such a shame for him. And Felipe Massa was taken out by Kamui Kobayashi at the start. So we'll take it from the start then. Well, at the start, Lewis Hamilton got quite a poor start, in comparison to his teammates, Nico Rosberg, who stormed through to take the lead of the race. Ricciardo dropped back a bit, but soon managed to catch up. And then Kobayashi just locked up his brakes, went slamming into Felipe Massa, taking him out. I think it'll definitely be a grid penalty for Kamui Kobayashi indeed. But, by DRS was disabled, and then Massa, Kobayashi and Bianchi looked like they were all out, but then Bianchi came back in and he started the race. Hamilton had to retire. Really shame. You could sort of see he had problems for the start. That's why he dropped back so much. And it's a shame, because I think there could have been a really good battle between Rosberg and Hamilton. I think Perez and Gutierrez pipped for repairs after they got some damage on the opening lap. But one of the funniest moments of the Grand Prix was probably Chilton passing Vettel, but of course Vettel did have a problem, and then sadly Vettel and Hamilton both retired, which is not good for them. Not good to see from the race, because I think those two could have played a major role in it. The two runners that actually started on the harder medium tyre were Vettel and Gutierrez, and both of them were either out or had pitted for the soft tyre in the opening 5 laps. So then they had to clear Kobayashi's car, but they didn't actually bring, they did bring out a safety car. Then Button actually pitted. He managed to pit a lap before everyone else behind the safety car, and I think that promoted him up the field ahead of Fernando Alonso and Nico Hulkenberg, and I think eventually he would finish 4th, which is a great race for Button, definitely after starting down in 10th. He jumped people in the pit, so I think other people might be a bit annoyed at that. And then Bottas was really the man on the move. He started near the back, but certainly was coming through the field, winning very highly, I think, in around 9th, right behind a few people, or around 7th or so. But he was certainly, in the sort of low points, pushing for those high points and maybe even a podium. But then sadly he did crash, lose his wheel and a wheel rim, but amazingly on 3 wheels, got back to the pits. Then, his debris brought out a safety car. Bottas then pitted, then came out, overtook a load of cars to eventually finish in, I believe, 6th place, which is amazing for Williams. 8 points in the bag already, more than they managed to score in the whole of the last season. 19 races, their points tally of 19 races has just been to by 1 in 2014. An absolute brilliant race for Williams. And then further up the field, Rosberg sort of led away. Ricciardo was pressured by Magnussen, but I think Ricciardo always, just kept his cool. Button maybe could have caught his teammate with a few more laps. Alonso had a fairly stable position. He sort of, after the pit stops and a couple of safety cars, he sort of cemented his 5th place after that. Bottas, brilliant drive for him in 6th. Hulkenberg, I think, a very good race. He sort of went under the radar because I don't think he actually had the best car for this race. Force India is kind of looking a bit average, maybe better in qualifying than it is in the race. I think in terms of race pace, maybe they got about the 5th or 6th best car, but we'll have to see. But brilliant job for Hulkenberg to get 6 points in the bank already for Force India. Kimi Räikkönen struggling, like I mentioned, definitely his teammate getting a better grasp on the rules and regulations and how the car handles. Toro Rosso, brilliant day, double points finish for them, 3 points ahead of their season, and they move above Lotus, Caterham, Marussia and Sauber, so that will mean they're actually in 7th place, which is brilliant for Toro Rosso. McLaren lead the way in the Constructors after they got a very solid 3rd and 4th. I'd probably rate them as their best team from the opening race, not in terms of pace, but just in terms of success. And I think then Mercedes, really sad that Hamilton would retire, but I think we could have seen a great battle. But I think overall this race was fantastic, definitely. I suppose there wasn't that many overtakes, but I think definitely give this out an 8 out of 10 for plenty of drama and plenty of excitement, and unpredictability I think was the name of the game, as we expected. But more cars finished than I thought. 14, which was actually where the drivers were predicting, but some people thinking there was only going to be about 10, but luckily 14 finished, because we want to see as many finishes as possible. I think I'll finish with the driver of the day, and that has got to be Valtteri Bottas in his Williams. Down in the comments, I'd really appreciate if you did put your driver of the day and why. Definitely interested in seeing your thoughts and opinions on the race, and you can always give the race a rating out of 10. But I'm busy with racing then. Really enjoyed the Australian Grand Prix. I hope you did too. But it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.